Ouais, ma vie sociale a vraiment amélioré. Bonjour, bienvenue dans un nouvel épisode de français avec Paul Jenkins Languages. Bonjour tout le monde, sois le bienvenu. Aujourd'hui, nouvelle classe et on va continuer avec tell it's definitely early on a Monday and I've not yet found my form. La vie sociale, social life, which I joked about in the starter there. I quite like those cold opens, by the way. They remind me of good TV shows. Today, so with this, we've been looking at previously been looking at kind of clothes and outfits and what you wear, and kind of continue with that kind of self and social time and going out. How often you do an activity today, particularly time expressions. So, key vocab for today, particularly the expressions of frequency. Hopefully those verbs there ring a bell from previous French, but I've put them there just to remind you. So let me read them. Tu en fais souvent. So do you do it often, meaning the activity it's referring to, like, I don't know, jouer au football, play football. I suppose that could also say, do you do it often, or how often do you do it, as in that activity. Anyway, souvent, quelquefois, une fois par jour, deux fois, toujours, tous les jours, tous les soirs, le week-end, le samedi soir, le dimanche après-midi, le jeudi, dimanche, pendant. So you could put pendant before some of the, before particularly the last four there. So like pendant le weekend, during the weekend, pendant le samedi soir, during Saturday evening. I've put a few activities there as well. Je bavarde avec mes copains. Je fais des concerts. Je joue au baby-foot. Je joue au billard. Je joue au foot. Je regarde un film. Je retrouve mes copains. Et finalement, je vais au bar. Activité numéro 1, très simple. Trouver les paires. Je vais faire une pause. If you're doing the lesson now, working through it, good time to pause the video. Voici les réponses. It's just getting used to that vocabulary. Often time phrases like this, when people start doing speaking or writing in French, they have a habit of kind of forgetting them because they're so focused on kind of the activity or the verb of what they're doing, but they forget to add things like time phrases that just kind of give extra variety and extra kind of richness to what you're doing. Et maintenant, traduction, remplissez les blancs. So this is taking what we did on the matchup and then putting it into sentences, just so you can start working through that. Pause. And if you're working through the lesson, good time to pause. Parfait. Voici les réponses. I think a really good thing to pick out here is that you can put these time phrases either at the end of a sentence or at the start of a sentence. So look at number 4 there. Je vais sur Internet le samedi soir. I go on the internet on Saturday evenings. I think this exercise was created in the time when people weren't on the internet all the time. To us, as I was growing up in the 90s, hilariously, in early 2000s, you basically had what's called a dial-up modem. I know I'm going off tangent here, but bear with me, where basically if you went on the internet, you couldn't use the phone. I know, what a crazy idea that is. Anyway, back to the French. So yeah, le samedi soir, so the time phrase there is at the end of the sentence, but if you look at the next one, number 5, le samedi après-midi, it's at the start of the sentence. So le samedi après-midi, je vais en ville. On Saturday afternoons, I go into town. You could say je vais en ville le samedi après-midi. You could put that to the end of the sentence, and that would also work. So hopefully what you're seeing here, quite a lot of similar activities, but it's kind of getting that narrow focus of, firstly, can you match up words? Secondly, can you translate? And thirdly, can you now take a paragraph and put it into the correct order? Et voici les réponses. Je vais lire. Le week-end, je fais du shopping avec ma sœur. Puis, je joue au foot avec mes amis dans le parc. Une fois par semaine, je fais les courses avec ma mère. Interesting that they say je fais du shopping and je fais les courses, which kind of mean the same thing. I'm intrigued, actually, why they've done that. And whether there's a subtle difference of meaning, because generally I translate je fais du shopping and je fais les courses just as I go shopping or I do shopping. I will investigate. Anyone watching a video wants to do some research as to if there's a subtle difference between je fais du shopping and je fais les courses, leave a comment below at the end of the video. Et finalement, on va écrire et on va traduire. So 5 sentences about your free time. So it's taking what you've done this lesson and then handing it over to you to show your progress, show what you've learned. Let me get my face out the way there. And then a couple of sentences to translate, which are basically a retrieval from the previous lesson to check that you haven't forgotten that. If you're doing the lesson now, good time to pause. Voici les réponses. Quand il pleut, souvent je reste chez moi. When it rains, often I stay at home. I could have also put souvent at the end of that sentence, it would have been fine. And then quand il y a du soleil, quelquefois je joue au tennis. Once again, quelquefois could have gone at the very end of the sentence, and that's fine. Ok, je crois que ça c'est tout. Merci beaucoup. Si vous aimez, laissez un like, laissez un commentaire, abonnez-vous. Merci beaucoup. À la prochaine.